Thank you to my good friend Neffy for letting me borrow his deck and make a deck tech video on it. Neffy and company own my local game store, and needless to say, I get all of my product from them. Shout out to Game Den in Provo. What do it do? Lord Windgrace decks are all about lands. The more lands you have, the better. We're gonna ramp super hard, get Windgrace out, ramp some more, and swing for the kill with spells and large amounts of creatures. Windgrace always has a target on his back, so you may not get to ult him, but if you do, you can destroy 6 different non-land permanents and make 6 2/2 cats with Forest Walk. It's super good, hence why he's always got a target on his back. That's a lot of ramp. Like I said, we're gonna ramp really hard, and this is the largest section of the deck, and it just makes sense. You literally always have out more lands than anyone else on the board. Sol Ring, Arcane Signet, Basalt Monolith. Cheap, fast, and combo effective. There's at least one infinite mana combo with Basalt Monolith in the deck, but I'll let you decide what that is. Rampant Growth, Farseek, Sakura Tribe Elder. Find a land to the field, simple and effective for finding specific lands, and just chump block with Sakura Tribe Elder, then sack him. Cultivate, Kodama's Reach. Same, but one goes to hand and one to the battlefield tapped. Migration Path and Skyshroud Claim. 2 basic lands this time enter the battlefield. Trigger Landfall's abilities for a good old time. Boundless Realms. Literally double the amount of lands you have. This is a very good card, and if you have the 7 lands to cast it, you'll grab 7 more and have 14 mana available next turn. Explore and Exploration. Play an additional land on your turn. Explore does this once and draws you a card. Exploration lets you play an extra land every single turn. That's just insane for 1 green mana. Crop Rotation and Harrow. Sack a land to get a different land or 2. Yeah, really nice, especially if you're in a pinch and don't need that green land and you need a red land instead, or whatever. Nahiri's Lithoforming and Scape Shift. These 2 are very similar in the fact that they search for basically any number of lands after you sacrifice that many lands. You can pay for however much you want with Nahiri's Lithoforming, and Scape Shift that lets you sack everything you want, and you'll search for that many. Burgeoning. This is probably my favorite card in the deck, honestly. Whenever an opponent plays a land, you may play a land. This is super broken in this deck. Since the whole deck revolves around land, you'll almost always have a land to play. I've seen this on turn 1, and by the time we were back to Neffy's turn on turn 2, he already had 4 lands. It's so good. Mana Reflection. This doubles any source of mana you have, not just lands. And yes, this goes infinite with Basalt Monolith. There it is, if you hadn't guessed already. Landfall. What's a land deck without Zendikar's Landfall ability? Lotus Cobra. Landfall, float and extra mana, definitely gets hate on Arena. Valakut Exploration. This one has a lot of words, but basically it has Landfall. You can cast the top card of your library this turn. If you have multiple landfalls, the cards you don't cast go to your graveyard and deals that much damage to each opponent. It's pretty cool, but yes, very wordy. Retreat to Hagra and Ob Nixilis the Fallen. Landfall, make other people lose life, and that's basically what these are mostly used for. But Ob Nixilis can get very, very big, very, very fast, putting 3 counters on him every time you get a landfall. That's just nuts. Scoot Swarm, Zendikar's Royal. Landfall, make extra little creatures. Scoot Swarm also copies itself once the condition is met, and will stack and stack and stack until no one can deal with 1,000 Scoot Swarms. And Zendikar's Royal just makes those little 2/2 elementals that can run around all over and wipe out the enemy that way. Avenger of Zendikar, Rampaging Baloths, and Omnath Locus of Rage. Landfall, make even more creatures. Avenger of Zendikar makes plants equal to the number of lands you control when he enters, and then Landfall, he makes them all bigger. Omnath will make 5/5 elementals on landfall, which is crazy in and of itself, and when those elementals die, Omnath lightning bolts something. All 3 of these landfall creatures are so good, and should basically be in every landfall deck, and that Rampaging Baloths with a 4/4 beast every landfall is incredible as well. Cream of the Crop. This was kind of a play on crop rotation, if you didn't already notice. Okay, these are the bombs that will help the deck run like Forest Gump. Azusa, Lost but Seeking, and the Gitrog monster. Extra lands each turn again, and Gitrog makes you sack a land each turn, but gives us card draw when any land goes to the graveyard from anywhere. So when you discard a land with Windgrace, you'll draw another card. Such good synergy, and Azusa, Lost but Seeking, helps us get out 2 additional lands each turn. Cavalier of Thorns. Enters, put a land from the top 5 of your library into play, and when he dies, you can replace the top card of your library with something in your graveyard. Plus a 5/6 body with reach is great. Multani, Yavimaya Avatar, and Rampaging Brontodon. Both gain power equal to your lands. Multani's power and toughness are equal to all lands in play and in the graveyard that you control, which is really nice with Windgrace. And whenever this big bad dino attacks, he gets +1/+1 for each land you control, and it has trample. GG for some folks. Sylvan Safekeeper, Dragon Broodmother, and Corvold Fey Cursed King. These all have to do with sacrificing things. Sack a land to give something Shroud, then create 1/1 dragons with Devour 2 each upkeep, and then make a giant dragon noble by sacrificing lands and or creatures and drawing tons of cards. All very synergistic together, plus with Windgrace's draw cards and discard cards abilities, and then all these sacrificing abilities, that makes everything just incredible. Reclaim. This is all about grabbing stuff from the graveyard and recurring it, so we don't lose any amount of energy while we're playing. Crucible of Worlds. This one is so powerful but so simple. Play lands from the graveyard. You'll have stacked so many lands in the yard with Windgrace that you're bound to run out of your lands in your hand. That's where this comes in. Just replay those lands from the graveyard. It's great. Splendid Reclamation, the Mending of Dominaria. These two ultimately return all lands from your graveyard into play, so that's just a ton of landfall triggers and so many lands that you can do that with after you've discarded them with Windgrace. Eternal Witness, Titania, Protector of Argoth, and Soul of Innistrad. More of returning things from your graveyard to your hand or play. And with Titania, when we sacrifice lands, we'll make 5/3 elementals, even more creatures for opponents to deal with. Explore. Let's explore some more of our options via tutors. Gamble and Worldly Tutor. Just tutor something specific. Worldly Tutor is specifically a creature. And then with Gamble, you search for anything that discards something at random, which is really fun. It's not exactly effective sometimes, but there are some really good combos in the deck anyway that make this work really well. Demonic Tutor and Scheming Symmetry. Search for another specific thing and put it into your hand, or on top of your library with the case of Scheming Symmetry. Another player will also search for something, but you can always make a deal with them, right? Moonlight Bargain. This can grab things from the top of your deck and put them into your hand or graveyard. Great for finding exactly what you need. Just a little help. Small section with big differences. Amulet of Vigor. Untap all your things that enter tapped. This is probably actually my favorite Magic card of all time. There's so many combos and so many just wins, and it's just so fun. Horn of Greed. Landfall for everyone, and they draw a card. Seems too group huggy, right? Well, kinda, but you'll be playing upwards of 5 or more lands a turn, so you'll benefit way more than everybody else. Targeted Removal. Remove the small things or large things that are in our way. Crozen Grip and Acidic Slime. Destroy an artifact, enchantment, in the case of Acidic Slime, a land. But if you're not a total degenerate, you won't destroy lands. Consigned to Dust and Windgrace's Judgment. Destroy X number of things. Each of these has different number of things they destroy, but Consigned to Dust lets you pay an additional 3 mana to destroy more all at once. Mass Removal. Now let's remove all our obstacles. Chain Reaction. This deals X damage to everything where X is the number of creatures on the battlefield. This is such a nice creature removal. Pernicious Deed and Gaze of Granite. Destroy all things X or less, and you can hold Pernicious Deed over everybody's head, making everything tense all around. Decree of Pain. Destroy all creatures and then draw cards equal to the amount of creatures that died this way, and that cycling ability or whatever. Wave of Vitriol. Basically send a wave of acid to melt all of everybody's everything. If you're a fan of non-basic lands, you're definitely not in luck here. Game Enders. And finally, if we haven't already beaten up everybody to a bloody pulp by now, here's some spells that will strike the finishing blow. Finale of Devastation. Well, search for something from your library X or less, then put it on the battlefield. But make sure X is 10 or more to make things extra spicy by giving all your creatures +X, and haste. Electrodominance. Deal X damage to anything, then cast something with X or less from your hand. Kill someone, then cast, let's just say your Avenger of Zendikar, for free. Such good, much wow. Torment of Hailfire. I believe I've talked about this card on the channel before, but basically you'll make X so high that everybody dies. Players will have to sacrifice all their non-land permanents, discard all the cards in their hand, and then just lose 3 life for each thing that they didn't do. Effie has done this to me more than once, and it's a little bit frustrating, but it does end the game. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I hope everybody is enjoying these. Please comment and let me know what you think. like, share, and subscribe for more content. And if you like what you see, hit that bell button so you don't miss any other videos you'll only find on Manfred Plus Magic. I will see you next Thursday.